Hello everyone. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Quotes, Light, and Motivation. I am your host, William H. We have a great quote today that we're going to dive into. The quote is, "Some things are better off ignored than attacked. Attention is the oxygen of conflict. When you fight a problem, you breathe life into it. When you starve a problem of your attention, you suffocate it. In a surprising number of cases, the way to solve a problem is to ignore it." End quote. And that quote is by James Clear. So I'll give you a little bit of background on James Clear. James Clear is the author of Atomic Habits, an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. This book, which I've read before, it's a great book. It's sold over 4 million copies worldwide. Atomic Habits is a guide to breaking down bad behaviors and adopting good ones. The book details how small, incremental, everyday routines compound into massive positive change over time. Okay, so there's not a whole lot on the internet about James Clear as far as how old he is or where he's from and so forth. So I just decided to dive a little bit more into the book and details on the book. So it's a great read if you have time. I highly suggest you take a look at that book, Atomic Habits. I'll read the quote one more time. "Some things are better off ignored than attacked. Attention is the oxygen of conflict. When you fight a problem, you breathe life into it. When you starve a problem of your attention, you suffocate it. In a surprising number of cases, the way to solve a problem is to ignore it." End quote. I like this quote because it's saying that some things, some problems should not get a reaction out of us. Some things we should not even waste our energy on. Not everything that happens, not every problem that arises on a daily basis deserves a reaction. So what are you spending unnecessary energy on? I think we underestimate the power of attention. And this attention could be a conflict with a neighbor, a family member. I think a lot of people are starved for attention. So a lot of people do things to try to get a reaction out of people. So I think there's a lot of people that are starved for it, starved for some type of attention, want some type of reaction, from people on a regular basis. So they do things, they say things, they act in such a manner to get a reaction. And this is every day, or maybe not every day, but it's a regular occurrence with this person. And these type of people, right? It's a regular occurrence with these type of people that something needs immediate attention. They need you right now, right? They need your attention right now on this issue. And they can't wait. And then you may take some time and spend some time looking into what the issue is, and you realize it's really not something that you can do something about, not any way you can help, or it's a recurring issue, meaning that it's something that you've encountered before with this person and it's recurring over and over and over and over again. And it's kind of a time waste, right? If you're giving advice, you're offering advice to someone on the issue they're facing, they're not taking your advice, or they're not listening to your advice, they're not considering your advice. They just continue the cycle over and over again. But when things go wrong or horribly wrong, they reach out to you for help. So that would be something that I would say maybe you need to think about. Are you spending unnecessary attention on this? Are you wasting your time? Have you already planted enough seeds that you don't need to continue to make yourself readily available for whatever issue that's popping up for this person over and over continuously? Because some people are conflict addicts, right? Some people like conflict. They like getting themselves in situations that require help or require attention from everyone. But I want you to realize that your attention is important. So you don't want to give it away with ease. Be very particular about your time and your attention, what you spend time on and who you give attention to, and what situations you give attention to. Because when you do that, you're taking something out of yourself. I read something somewhere. You're taking energy from yourself. I read something somewhere that, you know, as we go throughout the day, we make choices and decisions, and each choice requires a level of energy or takes a level of energy to make. As you go throughout your day, you're constantly making choices, you're constantly making decisions. What am I going to wear? You know, what am I going to do after work? What am I going to eat? And it takes energy out of you, right? It takes energy to make those decisions. Although it seems mundane, these decisions you're making on a daily basis, as you go through your day, you're making hundreds, if not thousands, of decisions every day, and they're all taking energy from you. Another thing is that you can find yourself becoming frustrated, right? If you're dealing with someone offering advice, they're not taking it, instead they continue to go in a cycle of repeating the same issue over and over and running to you for help once chaos has erupted. You can become angry in that situation and upset in that situation. If you've already offered all that you can give and it's on the person to make the right decision, then why should you spend, a lot of energy on the same situations over and over again? Because you don't want to become frustrated, You will become frustrated. There's a quote that says, "Beware that when fighting monsters, you yourself do not become one." So you don't want to become angry, upset, whatever, about a situation that you're trying to help someone with, and they're not receptive to it, or they're not making the necessary changes to address it. So this takes a lot of patience and self-control because, we live in an age where everyone can be reached via cell phone within a matter of seconds. And it's one of the things that, I'm not a fan of. I don't like to be readily available to everyone, whenever, however, any time of day, So sometimes a little bit of tough love is necessary when you're trying to help someone and they're not receptive or they're not making the necessary changes to change the situation. So you have to pick your battles, right? You have to discern when an issue comes up whether or not this conflict is worth your attention. So what I'm driving at here is that there's levels to problems, and there's ways that we can discern when to engage. And I think that's what this quote is getting at. There's levels to problems and conflict that we encounter on a daily basis, and we need to come up with some strategies on how can we discern when to engage a particular problem. So I've come up with a few questions to ask to think about before you engage or before you look to resolve a particular problem. One question is, how important is this item? Does this require a reaction from me, or is this an awareness item? Is this something that I need to react to right now, or is this something that I just need to be aware of for now? Maybe I'll need to react to it, in a day or two or a week or two. The second question I've come up with is, what will happen if I don't engage? If you don't engage, will everything fall apart, or will everything continue to move along? If you don't engage, will you be sorry and wish you had engaged? Or if you don't engage, will you have more peace and be okay with not engaging this time on this particular conflict? The third question to ask is, if I do engage, how much time and energy will this take away from my other tasks? So if you do decide to deal with the problem today, how will this affect the other items on your list that you plan to do for today? Like, are there other items on your list that are much more important than this? If not, then I understand, you have to deal with the problem. But if there's other items that you have to get done today, maybe this is something that can wait until tomorrow. Or if this is something that maybe it doesn't require a lot of energy, maybe it's something that's just a 5-minute discussion and, You can handle it while you're driving home from work or whatever. But you need to kind of discern that before you decide whether or not you want to engage. But you get to decide what you engage in. You get to decide what problems get your attention. So just be mindful and aware of this. So I'll read the quote one more time before we go. Some things are better off ignored than attacked. Attention is the oxygen of conflict. When you fight a problem, you breathe life into it. When you starve a problem of your attention, you suffocate it. In a surprising number of cases, the way to solve a problem is to ignore it. Y'all have a good week.